We're live. Hello. Hello, Teresa. Welcome. Hey, everybody that's coming in, say hello in the chat. Tell us where you are coming in from. My name is Kate. Yes, I'm not Michael. It's not Michael next to me or next to me or next to me as well. Don't worry, you're in great hands. We're happy that you're here. Say hello. Tell us where you're calling in from while we're just waiting a few more minutes. It is 7:01, so we are going to just give a couple of minutes to allow a few more people to come on to the webinar tonight before we jump in. Greg is here from Phoenix. Hello, Greg. Diego. Amia from Delaware. Amia, am I saying that right? I hope so. Paul is in Boston. Aloha from Maui. Nice. North Carolina in the house. LA area. Amy from Texas. All right, we got 3 Austinites here for you. So hello from Texas and Dallas, Texas in the house. This is fun. All right, great. Well, welcome you guys. Again, you may have noticed I am not Michael. I do not, I'm sorry. Maybe it's more pleasant to look at. But my name is Kate Buck. Let me take a moment and introduce myself. I'm the Director of Marketing here at the Michael Blanc Brands. And you may have heard me speaking at Dealmaker Live. You may have heard me on the podcast. What you may not know is I'm the one behind the scenes orchestrating the building of Michael's platform. So I'm in charge of marketing his podcast and the YouTube channel and growing his email list and all the things that actually we are going to talk about tonight. So just to get it out of the way, Michael unfortunately had something urgent come up last minute that didn't allow him to be here live. However, he was able to record a portion of the training tonight for you. And I am joined by my colleagues, Josh Thomas. Hello, Josh.
Hey there.
And Patricia Sweeney. Hi, Patricia. So Josh is the Director of Sales here at the Michael Blanc Brands, and Patricia Sweeney actually delivers and does the implementation for the Platform Builders division of the company. So like I said, you are in excellent hands. We promise that you are going to have a fabulous evening. You are going to learn a lot, and we are really, really glad that you are here. So if you have any questions throughout the program, type them in the chat. We'll be on at the end to do some Q&A with you. So feel free to engage there. Put those questions in the chat. I'll be moderating that, and then we'll be answering your questions at the end of the program. But let's go ahead. It's 7:03. I think we can go ahead and dive in and get started. We are going to start with none other than Michael talking to us about what is a platform and how to build a list so that you can raise millions in days.
So welcome to the Platform Builder Framework today, how to build your list to raise millions in days. So let's get right into it right now. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any of these challenges? You can't meet enough new investors. So you're either starting from scratch, or you already raised some money, and you're like, my gosh, how do I add a 0 next to that? Because what I've done so far has been a lot of work, and how do I really scale this thing? I can't meet enough investors. I can't raise enough money, and you really have no idea how to scale your business. If that is you, then you might want to consider a platform, an online thought leadership platform. You might also consider a platform if you want some of these things. You want to scale your business. You want to 10x your capital raise capacity. You want to be able to raise millions in days, but maybe you want a little bit more than that. Maybe you actually want to start a podcast. Maybe you want to become an influencer, a thought leader. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you even have a mission. And maybe you even want to change the world. If you want any of those things, you should seriously consider building an online thought leadership platform, because that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, well, this is great. I already have a platform, or I don't need a platform. And what I see a lot of people making is they make these mistakes when they're going about building a platform. The one mistake that I see people make is that they think that they already have a platform. They think that a website is a platform. It's not. It's a component. They think that using technology like ClickFunnels means they have a platform. It does not. It is a technology and a component of the platform. The other mistake I see people make is that they're building the platform in the wrong sequence. Okay, so this is what kills me, guys. All right, so let me give you a perfect example. You are successful in getting on someone's podcast, which is great, and you have a fantastic interview, and the host asks you, well, that's great, how can people get a hold of you? And you say, well, my website is xyzpropertyinvestments.com. First of all, no one's going to remember your website. Number two, no one's going to want to go to your website because there's no compelling reason. They just heard your story and they got all the value from you, so they're not going to go to your website. Number two, if they were to go to your website, there's nothing there. They're not going to, you will never know that person actually came to your website. There's no way to capture that visitor. There's no way to know who that person was. And here's the other thing, that host that invited you on a podcast, they're not going to invite you back for at least 24 months because there's so many great guests out there, which means that you blew a major opportunity to promote yourself. Okay. The other mistake I see people make is they have a website and it looks fantastic, but they are not building their email list with a lead magnet. And we're going to talk about what that is, but they're not building their email list. Why is that important? Okay. You got to build your email list. Oh, you might say, well, I'm already in social media. I have 1,000 followers. Well, good for you. But what if Facebook changes their algorithm like they've done literally like a dozen times in the last 5 years? And every time they do it, you reach less and less of your audience. You actually have to pay to play now. And even if you pay to play, sometimes it's difficult to actually reach your audience with social media. You don't control the platform. You actually really don't know who is in that platform. The short answer is you have to collect people's email addresses. Because when you have that, you can take that email, you own that. You can take that and change email providers anytime you want to. In fact, it's so valuable that you can actually use it with social media platform. For example, with Facebook, you can upload the emails and create what's called a custom audience or a lookalike audience, which is super awesome. So the value of those emails is super important. And to this date, and this is the most efficient way to communicate with people. It always has, and it's going to continue being that for a very long time. Now, is it the only way? No. We're going to talk about that, but it is a fundamental way, and everything hinges off that. You guys have to collect email address, and the way to do it is with a lead magnet. We're going to talk about that. The fourth mistake people make is, let's say you actually have a newsletter or a lead magnet, but you never communicate with those people. Now, I got to admit, I was guilty of the same thing myself because, I don't know, about 18 months ago, we put up a lead magnet, and people stumbled across it, downloaded it, and it was great. And then 7 months later, we tried to raise money for a deal, and we really struggled. Why? They never heard from me. They downloaded this lead magnet, and a week later, they forgot who I was and what the lead magnet was, and my emails probably went to the spam folder. I did nothing to nurture those people. I did nothing to gain their trust. I did nothing to really want to invest with me. And so that's another mistake that people make. The other mistake, and the last mistake I want to mention, is that even if you think you have a platform, and I talk to people all the time, oh, yes, I already have a platform, Michael. And I ask them about it. Be a form and an email, but there's no automations. And a marketing automation is so extremely powerful. And you will see that theme today in our training is that you can, with today's technology, it's super easy to use, you can automate almost everything. So not automating everything that you can with the technology available to you is another big mistake. Fundamentally, what people have two problems. One is they don't have a platform, or they have an incomplete platform. Both are major mistakes, and we're going to fix that problem here today on this call, okay? So now, after what I've said, do you think you need a platform? Type yes. Type yes in the chat box. But you can also type no in the chat box also, because here's the thing, not everybody thinks they need a platform right now, and that's okay. If you don't feel like you need a platform, you know what? You can take the evening off, and you can excuse yourself from the training, because we're going to talk about how to build an online thought leadership platform. So it's perfectly fine if it's not for you. Now, let me introduce you to what I call the Platform Builder Framework. This is a methodology to build a platform in the right way so that you can raise millions in days. All right, so here's the definition of what I call the Platform Builder Framework for syndicators. It's a proprietary system that fills your pipeline with the right kind of investors so that you can confidently 10x your syndication business in the next 1 to 2 years. That's what the Platform Builder Framework is. Now, why should you listen to me? You probably already know who I am, but some of you guys might not. I'm a leading authority on multifamily syndications. We have a top 100 investing podcast. We have a best-selling book. It's sold for over 10,000 copies on Amazon. We have live events with over 500 plus attendees, an email list with 30,000 email subscribers, and we own $75 million in multifamily real estate. We raised $8.3 million in 3 days just a few months ago here, and it's all due to the power of the platform. Now, I don't want to brag. I'm just telling you it's the power of the platform that's done that, because it's not always been like that. In fact, it took us a while to figure out how in the world can we scale our capital raising capacity. It was a real major issue for us. We were finding all these deals, but deals were smaller. We had to use a lot of joint venture partners, and we had to fix this problem. So we figured this thing out. Here's what this platform is going to do for you, and this is what it did for us. It attracts the right kind. You actually know who's on your tribe, who's in social media, who's listening to your podcast. It allows you to serve them so that they become raving fans, so that you earn the trust to lead them down a path, which is to invest with you. And also, it's a way to expand your reach to change even more lives. Fundamentally, a platform is going to allow you to 10x your syndication business in the next 1 to 2 years. Here's what this looks like, okay? Graphic, step-by-step. You know, I'm a step-by-step kind of guy. Here's the right sequence to build your platform and go through step-by-step. The first step is attract. When you attract and you clarify your brand, you attract the right investor. And this is a very, very important step. We're going to go deep on each of these things here so you know exactly how to do these things. But if you clarify your brand, you know who you are, you know who you're attracting, you will attract that right person, and you will repel another kind of person, and that's totally fine. In fact, that's good. Once you define who you are and you're attracting the right investor, you want to capture that person, that lead, and you want to do that by building your list, specifically by being a lead magnet, so that you know who's on your tribe. Then you're going to serve them. And serving is you do it by adding value. You're going to educate them. You're going to provide content to them. In so doing, you build trust and create raving fans. And once you've done that, you have earned the right to lead them down some kind of transformation, and you can ask them to do something. In this case, you're going to ask them to invest. And when they do that, there's going to be obviously money for your deals, and you're going to change their life as well. When you've done all of that, only then do you promote yourself. Then you become a guest on the podcast. Then you speak at meetups. Then you get busy in social media. Then you do whatever, okay? Because everything leads back to your platform. You need that entire platform in place before you do anything. You guys understand that? Does that sequence make sense to you? Type yes in the chat box. That makes sense to you? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad we got that straight. That's super, super important. Now let's go to each of these steps here. I'm going to go and describe what each of these steps mean. So here's the same thing again, but we're going to go deep. So the first we're going to do is we're going to talk about attract, the attract phase. We're going to clarify your brand. And what that really means is you have to be clear about what your story is and how it pertains to your target audience. That target audience has a name in the marketing world. It's called avatar. You know, kind of like the movie with the blue people, right? It's called avatar. And the question always, who is your avatar? The avatar describes who that person is. How old are they? What job do they have? Maybe they have. What are their false beliefs? What do they want? What are they afraid of? Okay, so imagine in your mind who your ideal investor person is. And how does your story relate to that? Okay, how does your story relate to that? For example, one of the previous workshop participants, his name is Ed. He was a financial advisor, and his 2 elderly parents almost ran out of money in retirement. This was a major problem for him, and he couldn't solve the problem as a financial advisor, right? And so he started looking into it, and he goes, I can't fix it with the stock market. There's no cash flow. It's too volatile. It's uncertain. What else is there? And he found multifamily syndications, and he started investing in those with some of his parents' money, and he started making cash flow and appreciation. And within 5 years, he had covered his parents' living expenses, and he was he was the biggest evangelist, right? So he is now building a platform, and his target audience obviously is retirees or about to retire. He has got a personal story, and he can describe to you exactly who his avatar is, because those are his elderly parents. And that's how clear you need to get in your brand. And when you do that, you're going to attract that person, and you're going to repel everybody else, right? So if you're a single person and want to get rich, you're not going to be attracted by Ed's message, and that's fine, because he doesn't actually want to work with you. He wants to provide value to people that are like his parents. Does that make sense? Right. Okay. So the next step now is you want to, on the attract side, you want to create your home base. Now, what is your home base? Your home base is your website. Many of you listening to this, watching this right now, already have your website. It's like one of the first things you do. You put out your shingle and you get a business card and a website. You need a home base, and it doesn't have to be very complicated. In fact, even if you look at ours, nighthawkequity.com, it's a single page. At the top, it says, why should you invest in multifamily? It's a little education. Why is that a good thing? Why should you invest with us? You know, who's our team? What's our track record? What's the investment process, right? And what is the next step? So it's a very simple website. And in fact, if you go with a service like Apartment Investor Pro, they'll put up a website for you very affordably within a day, because they specialize on multifamily syndication. So the website is super, super easy to do. Doesn't cost a lot, but you need it because you're going to drive traffic back to that. So now you've attracted. You have that core base right now where people can. You're attracting people from the brand that you are, what your story is, and who you're dealing with, and you're going to bring them back to the website. Now, when you bring them back to the website, we're in the capture phase. Now, when that person comes to your website, you want to capture that visitor. Okay, you want to know who that person is, and specifically, you want their email address, because if I have their email address, I can now communicate with them. I can email them. I can upload them into YouTube. I can do a variety of different things. All right, so you want to build your list with a lead magnet. Now, what in the world is a lead magnet? Lead magnet is an internal marketing term that basically refers to any kind of free download, a freebie, a special report, a checklist, a graphic, something like that. So if you come to our website, themichaelblank.com/report, you get this one here. And ours is called a special report. What's the best investment, the stock market or real estate, right? Because I'm attracting a kind of person that's scratching their head about the stock market, and they're looking for alternatives. They're open to alternatives, and maybe they've already invested in some real estate. So stock market and real estate is something that resonates with them. They're like, well, I'm trying to figure out the answer to that question myself. Now, someone like Ed, for example, might have a lead magnet that says how to not run out of money in retirement. Hint, a secret that your financial advisor won't ever share with you, right? So if I'm a retiree and I'm concerned about my retirement, I'm going to go, well, Ed, I want that report. I want the answer to that burning question. And I'm going to give you my email address because it's a fair trade. So now I enter the email address to get this report. And now there's a series of automations that kick off a series of emails behind the scene. They deliver the PDF and they send some emails out for them. So that's the lead magnet. Well, now we're in the serve phase. In the serve phase, we want to do things. One is we want to welcome and indoctrinate them, and we want to serve them by educating them and providing value. So let's look at each of these steps in turn. The welcome and indoctrinate new subscribers. So when someone does that lead magnet, you want to send them a series of automated emails that welcomes them, introduces yourself, and tells them what you can expect moving forward. Okay? So that's what you want to do, and you can automate all that stuff. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to serve them with high quality, free content that provides value to them. Okay? So you're going to do that by emails and by a blog post, maybe a video, maybe you want to start a podcast, and you're now educating them about various aspects about multifamily. What is it? Why should you invest in it? What are some of the returns? What are the pros? What are some of the cons? How do you invest in your IRA? What are some of the tax advantages? Things of that nature. So you're educating them through content, consistent content. Every time you do that, whatever means, you're always driving them back to a lead magnet. So when you put a social media post out there, you're saying, I have this great lead magnet, how to never run out of money again. Go to my website, xyz.com, report. And you get this lead magnet. In so doing and consistently producing content, you are going to build trust with your tribe and create raving fans who eventually want to invest with you. Okay, so that is the serve step. You want to serve them. Now, once you've done that, we're on to the lead, because if you are going to lead anyone down, if you're going to ask anyone to do anything, you have to have trust with that person, because otherwise they're going to say, who the heck are you to tell me to do anything? But after having seen all this value from you, they go, and you basically ask them to do something, they're like, well, okay, maybe I should do that because he's had my best interest in mind all along. Maybe I should follow his advice. And there's this trust built up. And there's 3 phases for leading someone to transformation. Number 1 is you need a call to action, a product that will lead to transformation. Then you, in this case, because we're talking about the platform builder framework for syndicators, we can talk about the platform builder framework for book writers or authors or event planners. I don't care what it is, but for syndicators specifically, we need to onboard our investors. And then we're going to ask them to invest. Okay, so this is the call to action. So it's like Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know, but really cool. He's wrote this book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And the philosophy is that you're constantly jabbing, you're providing value, and every once in a while you can do a right hook. Okay, the right hook is when you ask someone to do something, but you've already provided so much value that you've earned the right to ask them to do something, and that's kind of the methodology here as well. So let's get into that right now. Let's get into create. Fortunately for us syndicators, we already have the best product on planet Earth, and that is multifamily syndications. Okay, we have a product, investment product that trumps everything else right now. We have an investment vehicle that produces cash flow, above average returns, lower volatility, a low risk profile, and extraordinary tax benefits. Wall Street, take that. Okay, so we have a fantastic product. We have a checkbox here, because if you weren't a syndicator, you'd have to actually create a product, a course, an event, a book. That's a lot of work. We don't need to do any of that. We already have that product. So step number 2 is we have to onboard our investors. Now, as you may be familiar with SEC laws, we can't just advertise our deal to anybody. We have to build a substantive relationship before presenting deals. This is to abide by SEC regulations. Now, there's this letter called the SEC No Action Letter, Citizen VC. You can, in fact, Google that right now, well, later on. And it's a large letter that a company called Citizen VC wrote to the SEC asking them, how in the world can I build a substantive pre-existing relationship so I can share a deal with them? And the SEC actually responded and described what this would look like. Now I'm going to give you the cliff notes. You can read this thing later on if you want to read more of a legal document. But here are the cliff notes, okay? Basically, there's several things that you need to do, and literally almost every SEC attorney we've checked with agrees with this. I mean, you can never pin down an SEC attorney. You can never say, are you happy with this? And they'll say, no, I'm only happy when you never leave the house because that's the only way I can avoid any kind of risk whatsoever. So you got to take what your will agree on this. If the new person you've never met before does a variety of things, such as completing a questionnaire, having a phone call with you, there's some emails going back and forth, they have ability to ask questions online or offline, then you can say that you have made a best effort, reasonable effort to build a pre-existing substantive relationship. Now, how do we do that in the online world? Okay, we do it through an automation called the Join the Club automation. Join the club, join the club. How do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we put up a short form, very short form that people fill out to join your investor club, okay? And then on the thank you page of that, we embed a Calendly widget that allows them to book a call with you, okay? And then there's a bunch of automations on the back end that handle all the things automatically, the integration. For example, if someone fills out the form and doesn't schedule a call, you're going to have a bunch of emails chase that person until they schedule a call. Now, if they schedule a call, you want to stop those emails, okay? And you want to change those emails. You want to welcome to the club. So there's a series of emails and automations on the back end that are doing a lot of the work for you. But magically, when you implement these automations, you wake up one morning, you have 3 calls with people you don't even know. Who are these people? Oh, these are investors. They came through my automation funnel. And all you do is you take these calls, and then once you've done that, you designate those people in your database as what I call deal ready. Deal ready means that these are people who have jumped through your hoops, and you can now present live deals to them. That's what you want. So you have all these leads, download your lead magnet, and then you have people who are deal ready, and that's what you want. Step number 3 in the lead process is you want to ask them to invest. And the way we do that is by hosting a live webinar. And at the end of the live webinar, we say, hey, if you're interested in this deal, then submit your soft commits. And that's, again, a form and a series of automations. So if they're on the webinar and they haven't submit their soft commit, there's some reminders, hey, please submit your soft commit. Once they've submitted your soft commit, you can get them to sign the legal docs, wire the funds, close the transactions. Again, a series of automations that behave differently based on what a person does automates the entire process. Now, you can do this last 3 sets manually, and we did this in the beginning, or you can use an investor portal. Investor Deal Room is a great portal that you can use. That's a great one, and we use IMS as well. They're a little more expensive. And again, this is when you're starting to scale a little bit and you want to automate the actual. This in the investor relations, you can use an investor portal. But all these things can be automated to a super large extent. Okay, so now we've led them down a path, and the last phase is to expand your reach. You have all these automations built up, so when someone comes to your website, they leave their email, you engage them, you nurture them, you serve them. Finally, you have the automations to, when you do have a live deal, to actually get them on a live webinar. You have all this stuff. Now, your problem becomes, how do I drop more leads into the funnel, okay? Now you can talk about, you've all this stuff that it's kind of set it and forget it. It's kind of humming along, doing what it is. People kind of sign up as you're sleeping, and all of a sudden there's a call, and then you do a live webinar and people invest with you. It's unbelievably magical. Trust me on this. Now you can expand your reach. Now you spend all your time promoting. Now, search engine optimization. You can get into guest blogging. Now you can be a podcast guest, okay? Now you can start a podcast. You can start a YouTube channel. You can get active on social media. You can start a meetup. You can speak at events. You can write a book. You can get into paid Facebook advertising. Now you can do all those things, and you now have a platform and automations to handle all those leads and convert them into investors. And every time you do these things, you refer them back to your lead magnet, okay? Every time you're on social media, you speak on stage, you're on a podcast, you have this unbelievably special report, how to never run out of money again, download it here, and people will go, I need this report. And they go run to your website, and they download the report, and there you go. Does that make sense, guys? I mean, right? Type yes if that makes sense. Let me take a little peek here so you guys make sure you're chatting. Okay, awesome. You guys are on a roll. All right. So we have done the entire thing in sequence, okay? We have built the bottom of the funnel all the way through, and now we can promote ourselves. Now and only then. And when you do that, guys, when you do this, the result of a platform built in the framework way I've described, if you do that, you have the ability to raise millions in days effortlessly, right? It is truly magical. And that means, and this is where my mission comes in, financial freedom for you. And it gets even better than that, because not only are you going to be financially free, but you're helping your investors become financially free as well. And that is super powerful in the process. Whether you feel like it or not right now, you're going to become a thought leader and an influencer and a difference maker. And this is why the platform building framework is so exciting, as you can sense by my voice. It's so exciting to me right now because it allows you to reach so many people. And yes, you can make a living, you can become financially free, but you can serve so many people who are so stuck right now in the Wall Street, and they can't understand how they can plan their financial future with any kind of certainty because there's unbelievable volatility. 2008, now 2020, I can't make any plans whatsoever. And when you ask them how their stock market is treating them, and they go, well, what do you think? You say, well, I got an alternative. They're going to want to talk to you, and you can make a real difference in people's lives. Is essentially what all the big syndicators that you have heard of are implementing. And we have not only implemented, but we've pioneered a lot of this stuff. Now we're talking amongst each other. We've experimented. We've figured it out. Okay, this is like the first unveiling of what goes on behind the scenes of Nighthawk Equity and some of the huge syndicators that you may recognize that are raising 10, 15, even $20 million per transaction, certainly in the year. And this is something that you can do by simply feeding the machine. So we cover the right way to build a platform that fills your pipeline with the right kind of investor so that you can confidently 10x your syndication business in the next 1 to 2 years. Now, it sounds like a lot, and it is, but let me ask you a question. Hypothetically, if you could have a platform like this in the next 60 days, like if you had a magic wand, poof, platform's there, would you be interested in knowing how you could do that? Type yes in the chat box.
So you guys type yes in the chat box if having a platform like this would be valuable to you in the next 60 days. I'm checking the chat right now to see, for those of you maybe that came on after the 3-minute or so mark, you might have missed that Michael had something come up very last minute, and he is very sad that he couldn't be here. So he pre-recorded that video for you, but that yes, we are having a live webinar. I saw a couple of people ask. So I want to take a moment really quick. I know some of you heard this, so I don't want to take up too much time, but my name is Kate Buck. I am the Director of Marketing here at Michael Blanc Brands. And so actually it is my job to do exactly what we just talked about. For Michael, I set up all the funnels and the automations, and we promote his social media. So I am the consultant that does, does all of that for him. Excuse me. I wasn't planning on saying all this, but I saw some people ask if we were live. So I just wanted, if you were shocked and expecting to still be hearing from Michael because you missed the first couple minutes of the webinar, I just wanted to reintroduce what's happening here, as well as I have Josh, our Director of Sales. He's going to chat with you in just a few moments. And Patricia Sweeney, who is the Director of the Platform Builders program and who does this work with the students that we have come into our programs and worked on building their platforms together. So at this point, I am going to turn it over to them to talk to you a little bit about the Platform Builders program. Josh?
So, all right, the original inception of this idea was we have been using our platform for several years, and we've been kind of tweaking and testing and perfecting it. And the culmination, as you may have heard Michael mention earlier, is we did a deal back in December where we raised $8.3 million in 3 days. And we did that all from investors who came from the internet, who went through our platform. And we built a relationship with them on automation. We had no pre-existing relationships with these investors. Now, how did we do that? By putting them through our platform and automating that process of building the relationship. The conversations that we had with those investors was the initial conversation, just kind of, hey, who are you? What are your goals? How much are you looking to invest? And then we moved them back into our automation, and we did a deal webinar, which we'll also show you how to do in just a minute. And once that deal webinar happened, they scheduled a call with Bronson Hill of Nighthawk Equity, our investor relations person. And that second conversation was basically, how much are you looking to invest and when can you wire us the funds? Everything else happened on automation. So that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we're delivering for you. The inception of this program was, well, if this works for us, will it work for other people? And so we put it through a beta, and we quickly realized initially it was, why don't we just teach everybody how to do this? Well, okay, that's not really going to work. We need to actually do it for you. That's the main lesson we learned from our beta. And then we launched the program for real, and we said, okay, you know what? We're going to do all of the work for you. And then the other thing that we realized there was we can't just hand you this machine and hope for the best. And so we're actually going to fill it with content, and we're going to support you for a year in whatever direction you're looking to go, however you'd like to build your platform and your exposure. We're going to set that up, and we're going to support you for a year to give you the best possible chance of success. And so let's talk about what we're going to cover here in the next couple of minutes. We're going to talk about what you get, and then Patricia's going to go through the deliverables. We're also going to discuss what we need from you, if it's right for you, because this is definitely not for everybody that's on this presentation. So you want to stick around and find out if this is the right place for you to be, or if maybe we need to have a different kind of conversation, and then some next steps as far as getting started. Okay, so as far as what you get, this is going to be a 60-day workshop where we're going to put you in touch with our marketing team. We've partitioned off an entire marketing team just for this project, and they're going to be building out your implementation. We have a membership site with training modules and some bonus materials and those sorts of things. We also have a private Facebook group, which is going to serve as your main means of connecting with other members within this program, and then also connecting with our marketing and tech teams for any kind of tests and tweaks and changes and questions that you might have. We'll take care of all of the technology, setting up all the funnels and automations, hooking everything up back in the background. We're going to create some custom branded content templates for you so that it's going to match your message and your brand. And then we're also going to create content for you as well. And it's not just kind of generic, everybody gets the same stuff. I get a lot of questions about that. By the way, just so you're aware, I've probably had at least 150 conversations about this. And so I can probably answer the majority of your questions about this and the kinds of concerns that have come up before. We're going to provide content for you, and Patricia will go in this in a minute, that allows you to kind of add your own personal flavor to it, so it does become uniquely yours. We're also going to help you put together and execute a 90-day plan with a one-on-one marketing consultation. That's going to happen up front with Patricia. We're going to get an idea of who is your target audience, what is your core message that you want to put out there, and how can we best reflect your brand. And then, as I mentioned, it's 12 months of support to make sure that you actually get that result that you're looking for and you have the best chance for it. So what is required of you? We need you to show up, okay? We need you to be there. We need you to do the things that we ask you to do. We need you to set aside a couple of hours per week. It mostly is just going to involve some writing. Nothing too difficult. If you're not a great writer, don't worry about it. We just need you to fill in some blanks so that we know how to build the rest. Everything else is going to be done for you. All the technology, all the design, all the production is going to be handled. And one thing that wasn't specifically mentioned here is we are also incorporating a mastermind with this. We're going to bring in subject matter experts and talk about things that we can do to help increase your exposure as you're going out there and working through this process and raising capital. So is this for me? Okay, now I'm going to commit a webinar felony here, and I'm probably going to disqualify some of you, but just having had so many conversations and seeing who has gone through this program, who has ultimately said yes to it, and who has ultimately needed it the most, this is what I'm going to say for that. Is this for me? This is for you, yes, if you have already completed a deal, or if you have some level of experience in real estate already to this point, or if you have raised some capital before. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, but if you have gone through the process and you've raised some capital, or you've completed some kind of deal in real estate, and you're looking to scale that business, then yes, this is for you. Okay. And what that means is, no, this is not for you. I'm sorry. If you have zero experience and you're just getting started, and you're expecting an easy button where we just push a button and then millions of dollars comes your way, it's definitely not for you. Now, if you do have zero experience or you are just getting started, we'd recommend that you check out our mentorship program. It's a one-on-one mentorship program, and it does guarantee results. I can talk with you about that privately in chat and here in a few minutes. And so if you're on this webinar and you haven't really executed any deals or you haven't raised any money yet, that's okay. This is good information, but this might be kind of the next step for you after you get that deal closed. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So what are some other people saying? Kyle Marcotte went through this, and he says Michael's Platform Builder Workshop has doubled his investors in a very short period of time. So definitely check it out if you want to scale your syndication business. And so Kyle had a lot of success by going through this. Also, Andy Vaughn, you may or may not have heard about Andy, super great guy, not tech savvy, not a tech dude. Okay, definitely really good at what he does, a very successful investor, but he was kind of nervous about this because he didn't really know how to get it started online. So he says that the Platform Builder Workshop gave him exactly what he was looking for, an automated system that brings more investors to me. He says it would have taken him a really long time to figure it out. Michael really knows how to automate marketing. And that's the key here. And I'm going to turn it over to Patricia here in a second about automation, because that allows you to go back and focus on what you really came here for, which is sourcing deals, raising capital, and increasing your portfolio. We want to take care of all the heavy lifting for the marketing and putting people in front of you so that you can just focus on building those relationships and having those conversations. So Patricia, can you take us through some of the deliverables and what the experience has been like for our previous students?
Absolutely. Thanks, Josh. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here with you. Super excited to see you guys in the chat. Sunny said, I'm ready. I've done deals before. I love it. And Diego, who I know was at Dealmaker Live, he actually just became part of our new fall platform builders. So welcome to the program, Diego. Excited to work with you. So the deliverables that we're going to be talking about today are literally the deliverables that you get as part of the platform builders program. So I actually teach the program along with Michael. I'm a decades old veteran of the marketing industry and an automation expert, which is why I work with Michael within this program to deliver an amazing experience for our students. Ultimately, what you're trying to get out of this is to use strategic automation to scale your business, right? And we do that via marketing. And so it's really amazing that our students who've already been through the program, they'll come back and say, oh my gosh, my lead magnet looks so amazing that they don't even have to read it and they're ready to book an investor strategy session with us. So it's been really cool to have that sort of feedback. And then literally our students who just graduated, within 3 weeks of graduating, they're already booking 5 to 7 calls per day. So it's really phenomenal to see the platforms in motion and doing the thing that we're all here to do, which is grow your business. So we're going to talk about the different specific deliverables here. And if you have questions, please do go ahead and just drop your questions in the chat. We're definitely going to stay on for Q&A at the end. And so let's dig into it. So we have 3 funnels. Those funnels that we build for you during the program all work together so that you can 10x your capital raise. So this very first funnel, the reason that we build this funnel for you is so you can build your list, which you heard Michael talk about is the asset that you need to be able to scale, right? Because once someone's on your list, you're able to nurture them and you're able to provide value and serve them through your content that you create so that they can know, like, and trust you. So when we build that lead capture funnel for you, you're going to be getting a custom ebook, which is so awesome. So I know you guys, most of you here have probably downloaded one, if not more or all of Michael's ebooks over the years. And so that's the same thing that you'll be able to use to attract and serve your leads. We're going to build you a download webpage, a thank you webpage, all with custom content that we help you create in a way that actually serves people and gets your brand message out there the way that you want it to be. We will do all the lead opt-in automations. We'll give you this really cool 3D image of your ebook. And of course, we'll also custom integrate all of your custom emails on the backside of that as well. So as I said, for that one, that's to build your list so that you can nurture them and get them to know, like, and trust you. So you're here to serve them. So funnel number 2 that we build, this is the join the club funnel. The reason that we build this one is so you can automate the booking of investor strategy sessions. We want you to go to bed and wake up in the morning and be able to have people on your calendar in an automated fashion. This is where that scalability comes in. Nobody wants to spend all this time back and forth trying to make appointments. You want people to qualify themselves and get on your calendar. And you also want to be able to get on the call so that you can qualify potential investors. So this is what the Join the Club funnel is all about. So we're going to build the Join the Club webpage. We're going to do the Book a Call webpage. Then we're going to hook everything up for the Join the Club automations. There's lots of fun techie things that go into that. You'll have your automated booking process, which integrates your calendar and your Zoom call. All that's all nice and automated. And of course, that too will have custom emails. Again, we build this funnel so that you can go to bed, wake up, and have people on your calendar who are ready to talk to you about your deals, okay? The third funnel that we build for you is your soft commit funnel. The reason that we're going to build this funnel is so you can present your deals to all of your potential and qualified investors at one time. So this is strategic and it's scalable for you. It's also that you can gather the commitments from the people who are interested in a very streamlined fashion. And it's also so you can make the investment process super easy for people who want to work with you. Okay. And again, all automated. So you're not having to go back and forth with emails and all this kind of stuff. So when we're building this particular funnel for you, you're going to get a deal webinar presentation template Michael's going to train you on exactly how to use that, what to customize, what you need to do with it. You'll get all the email templates that we use for that. We're going to build your soft commit web page for you. We're going to build the confirmation page for you. And we even build a not interested page for you, because if someone decides to participate and they're like, I don't really want to, you don't want to waste your time with that, we even let them say no. And that's perfectly wonderful too. And then we have all the marketing automations that go along with that. And then, of course, again, your custom emails. So again, this is so you can get people to commit to work with you in an automated and leveraged fashion. So the next thing that we do, which I find a lot of fun to build with all of our students, is all of your custom branded design deliverables. This is how you look super professional, right? People who are ready to get going and help you build your business because they're ready to invest, they want to work with professionals. And all of the things that we provide you here, which have your branding, right? Your messaging, your look and feel on it, you can use to do all of your marketing. So your custom lead magnet and your 3D ebook cover we talked about. You also get blog post image templates so that every time you post your blogs, it has that nice, consistent branded feel. You also get email and newsletter header templates that you can use in all of your communication so it looks super slick. We give you brand guidelines so that as you continue to create new content, you'll always be able to make sure you stay on brand. We also give you content distribution SOPs, which means that you know exactly what to do with all of this wonderfully branded content. And then we give you a really nice funnel map. So it's really easy to know where all of your things are that we've built for you, along with lots of other fun stuff. But these are the highlights of the branded deliverables that we hand over to you. Now, this program has really been a lot of fun to deliver. So the marketing and training that comes with this, Michael is really an amazing marketer. He's learned how to become an amazing marketer, and he's also amazing at what he does in the real estate space. So it's really fun to combine everything in the real estate syndication space with all the marketing that we do. So just like Josh said, defining your brand and defining your avatar is so important. And Michael is great at that. And we spend a lot of time within the program during our training and consulting one-on-one to make sure that we really, really nail that. And from there, we have your content plan that we build with you. Then we're actually going to craft a custom call to action that attracts your ideal client. Because just like Michael said in his presentation, he has, particular people in one of our time before last in our platform builder, he was really specifically speaking to older people who were within retirement age. So you talk to your ideal avatar differently than other people in the program are going to, and it needs to resonate. So we're going to work on that. Your marketing consultations throughout the program, we do several one-on-one because it's hard to do that in a group setting. And we want to make sure that you're really clear with exactly how you're saying what you're saying and that all the content that you create resonates. We do have a 90-day marketing plan that we create towards the end of the program, and then we'll review it in a one-on-one meeting. And then from there, you move into our 12-month mastermind, which does have monthly trainings, like Josh said, with subject matter experts. You also still have continuing support. And it's also actually just quite a lot of fun because there's a lot of really cool, fun people that are part of this Platform Builders program and our alumni. So last but not least, our bonuses. So just like you heard Michael say, if you don't have a website yet, or you have a website, but maybe you're not sure if you want to use it for this, the people who decide that this is a fit for them because they're ready to scale their business using strategic automation, use via Platform Builders, you also get a website. So if you need a website, we've got you covered, no problem there. We also created a course for you called Get Book Solid on Podcasts. You get that whole entire course as a bonus with this program. You also get 16 custom templates that you can choose from so that you can create your podcast one sheet that you will utilize when you're executing everything that you're being taught on that podcast course. You also will know exactly how Nighthawk manages their deal management process within the CRM. You'll get that training. We also do give a really in-depth comparison of the investor portal so you can decide which one of those you want to work with when you're ready. And we do give you 15 blog post ideas and outlines, which is, as Josh said, a year's worth of content ideas and outlines so that you never have to worry about coming up with great content to serve your audience. So I get super excited about all the fun stuff that we're up to in this program. And Josh has some more stuff that he wants to share with you as well. And I'm super excited to answer questions for you guys today.
Great. Thank you so much, Patricia. And so just kind of coming back to this, and I see some good questions in there, and we'll go over those in just a second. So the results here, this is what you're really looking for and looking to get out of this process and why it's important. We want new investors to automatically find you and to automatically build a relationship with you over time. Okay, they're going to schedule those calls with you. You're going to take the calls. The part that's not automated is you do have to pick up the phone and have the conversation. Unfortunately, we have not figured out the robot technology to replicate you completely. So you do have to have that conversation with the potential investor, but that's kind of the funnest part of it anyway. So we're going to feed the content machine to make sure that there's always something of value that you're sharing with your audience, and they're continuing to increase their relationship with you so that they know, like, and trust you, so that when it is time to get to raise capital for a deal, they are ready to go and they're ready to invest with you. And so you can invite with them. That's how we have been able to raise millions of dollars within days of putting out an offer, and we're offering that to you as well. So a typical scenario, just to kind of talk about what does this look like as far as dollars and cents. The average investor is going to invest about $70,000, okay? And that's taking into account the idea that a typical minimum investment is about $50K. Some investors are going to put in 100, some are going to put in 500, but not very many. So we have found, we've averaged it out over time. The average investor is going to be worth about $70,000 in invested capital. The general partner acquisition fee is usually around 3%. So if we do some quick math on this, 12 new investors are going to be worth about $25,000 in acquisition fees alone. That's one new investor per month. Okay. So we picked that number for a reason. We feel like it is completely doable and achievable for you to pull in one new investor for every month that you have a platform. That is a realistic and achievable and doable goal. Okay. And another reason that we picked this number is we wanted to use simple math. Okay. So getting the acquisition fee, that is a hard number that's based on the purchase price of your property, and you get paid that fee at closing. Okay. So this is not taking into account whatever passive cash flow you're getting from the deal or whatever gains in equity you have at the sale of the property. That's all in addition to this, but just pulling it back to a hard number, $25,000 worth of acquisition fees if you bring in one new investor per month. And that does more than cover the investment in this program. We'll talk about that a little bit here later. Okay, so a couple of other quick testimonials for you here. Aaron Hamill is somebody who definitely knows real estate investing, but he didn't really know much about online marketing to find those investors. He's working full time, and he was really looking for a way to automate this process, much like what we were sharing with Andy. You don't really want to be just like Aaron. You don't really want to become a marketing expert. You want to become a real estate investing expert. And so we're taking that part off of your hands. And this is what Aaron's saying here. The platform I have now will take my business to the next level. Now I can better get out my message of how awesome multifamily is as an investment. This is worth it if you want to scale your business. And then I want to share this one more with you. Megan Lamke, we had a conversation a few months ago, and Megan actually has some marketing skills. She has some abilities and marketing chops, and she's a relatively new investor. She has some experience, but not super full-time just yet. And one of the things that Megan had done is she had done a cost comparison between, she was already going to build a platform, and then she found out about what we were doing. And so she actually sent us a spreadsheet of pricing out all of the things that she would need to do in order to build this on her own, or kind of hiring somebody else to do it, and all of the time and all of the different things. And after she realized how much work and how expensive it was going to be to do it on her own, she came back to me after initially saying no, actually. She came back to me and said, you know what, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with you guys. And the result of this and she just joined a few months ago. The result of this is she's just completed her very first deal webinar and currently has at least $1 million in soft commitments after just building this platform and basically launching it. And Patricia maybe can add some color to this, but basically launching it and being active with it for less than 2 months. So it's pretty amazing that we could take somebody from zero, and you can probably find her on the internet if you wanted to type her name in. It's pretty easy to find. But that was the platform we built for her that was allowing her, with very little experience beyond a few investments here and there, and not having a platform before, to get $1 million in soft commitments. So I want you to, if you're interested in this, go to platformbuilders.com. You can fill out a short application, and you're going to have a conversation with me, and we'll figure out together if this is something that's the right fit for you or not. For those of you that know me, I'm a zero pressure kind of guy. This is either something that's going to make sense or it's not going to make sense. So go ahead and schedule the call if there's somebody that's interested in this. I'll also mention to you, the last time that we launched this program, those slots filled up within about 5 minutes. And it was a little bit insanity. So I do recommend, if you're interested and you'd like to speak about this, and you are qualified, which means that you do have at least some experience in real estate, I'll go ahead and mention there are some questions in here that we have. But one question was, I've done a lot of deals, but not necessarily in multifamily. That's fine. We're looking for people that have been through the process, because it's going to be easier for you to transfer this over and start scaling. So if you have closed a deal, or if you have raised some capital in the past in some capacity, then this might be the right step for you. But we recommend you go to platformbuilders.com to fill out the application. And can we also get that link into the chat, because it looks like our beautiful mugs are actually covering up the link right now.
Yes. There's also a little offer button showing. You guys can click that link and go to platformbuilders.com to schedule a call. So I'm going to come in, just hear you guys for a moment, and do the question. So now, if you haven't asked your question, and some great questions have come in, I'll just facilitate those. Patricia, can you put that up there as a sticky message? That might help also. So I'm going to scroll back here, and I'll just try to, if you guys don't mind, I'll try to, yeah, we are covering up that platform builder, aren't we? I might as well even take off the slide, but we'll try to, I'll try to toss them one way or the other. Or how about this? Since I'm just asking the questions, I'll go away. You guys can just hear my voice. It's fine. So the first question I have, I'll throw this one to Patricia. Peter asks, what if I bought a CRM already? Do I need to use it, or do I need to use one of your favorites?
Yep. So can you hear me okay? I think my video froze. Let me turn that off and turn it back on. Yeah, so we actually have ActiveCampaign. That is the one that we use in the program itself. And because all of our automations are built in there, what we do is actually go in and customize a version of that for you with all of your content. And then we actually integrate that for you. So if you're in a CRM now, and you're, not you, even if you are heavily using it, we can do some work with you to get it moved over. Most people don't typically heavily use their actual CRM all that much. So I would suggest that you have a call with Josh, and you can go to platformbuilders.com and do that to kind of figure out what your situation is, to see what level of customization we can offer. Because this is not like a huge program where we have like hundreds of people in it, right? We really do spend a lot of time with you in the program, because that was another question that I saw come through. So when we say we do one-on-one calls, like we only enroll enough people in the program to where we can facilitate everything that you need, with the time available to us within the 8 weeks of the live training. And then we have like another 3 or 4 weeks after that where we're closing out everything, doing the consults and that kind of stuff. So anyway, so yeah, you have something already. It's okay. Go ahead, Josh.
The quick answer to that question is we prefer ActiveCampaign, but if you are using another CRM, it's pretty easy for us to port all of that information over into ActiveCampaign, and we think you might like it better, but we can have that conversation to determine for sure. If you're super invested in something else, we can figure it out.
Yeah. So book a call for that particular question.
And I'll just piggyback on that one. We have a question, a marketing question, ActiveCampaign or MailChimp? I think we might have just answered that. We prefer ActiveCampaign. MailChimp is just an email service provider. It's not actually a CRM as well. So for sending emails, you might be able to use MailChimp for simple emails, but it won't function like a CRM. Is that right? I'm right about that?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And to be really clear, guys, I know we're giving you some specifics of the technology here tonight. If you're thinking about working with us, please do not go out and buy the software. We literally walk you through our process in the program very step by step. And we will give you everything that you need and tell you when you need to go set those things up. So just for those of you who are ripping and raring and ready to go, Andy already said there's no appointments until August 30th on the calendar. So check that out real quick, Josh.
Okay, I'm on it.
So just like 5 minutes and we were full. So it's exciting.
I'm gonna, Josh, let me know when you're done with that, because I do have a question for you.
I've got appointments tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So
maybe you want to show them. Can you show them your screen maybe and show them like what they need to do to book then? So if Andy was confused, awesome. Kate, I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think you did answer this already, but Kathy was asking if she already has a website built out similar to the CRM question. Can she leverage that, or does she need to completely restart? I think you actually said it right after she asked the question, but I figured we'd do that.
Yeah, you can. There's nothing wrong with having more than one website. If your website works, we can work with that. If it's not great or it's lacking functionality, we'll build you a new one. It's included. But just like real estate, there's nothing wrong with having multiple websites.
Yes.
Hey, just real quick, can you see my screen?
I can, Josh.
Okay, so if we're on platformbuilders.com, you can go down and you should be able to select some times here. I've got tomorrow, I've got 4 slots, and I've got some slots here.
Awesome.
On Friday.
Cool,
Okay.
Aaron. So that's perfect. Let me answer that question a little bit then. So yes, Josh is mentioning that you could have 2 websites. You can, and especially, and we have several of our platform builder members actually who had like one website, and then we set up another one very specific for their platform capital raising, that part of their business. And part of the branding and the communication that we built around that means that it's super on point, super targeted, super niche to their people, which is awesome. Now, about 40% of the people in the program, though, they already have a website. So we actually do work on your website. We build the web pages and customize the funnel flows on your website if you're bringing a website to the table, if you're not interested in the idea of having 2 websites and you're not, you don't care about the free website. Totally cool. No problem at all. That's part of why we only kind of keep the program not to too many people, because we make it work for you.
Sean has a question about if you can't do it now, will it be available later? So we do offer it 3 times a year. This is the 3rd time for this year, so we won't be offering this again until 2021, but we will be offering it again in 2021. Josh, of course, I want you to address, because folks have questions about the price of the investment tonight. Do you want to answer that question? We kind of did when we talked about the price of the program. It is a significant investment. Would you like to? I'm trying to go over here.
Sure. So yeah, it always seems like kind of a tap dance around this, and so I'm just gonna shoot you straight. Okay, it's a $20,000 investment. So just gonna put that out there. Now, if that disqualifies you because you don't have the resources, then that's okay. It's probably not where you need to be right now. What we need to do is we need to treat this like a business. Business requires investments in infrastructure, and eventually we're probably going to have to put some investments into marketing. But we never want you to throw money down a dark hole. Okay, and the reason that it's not so important really what the price is, because We set the investment in a way that we can provide the help that you need in order to get a return on that investment. So as I mentioned, we've gone through a couple of iterations of this. The initial beta was, we're just going to kind of show you how to do this stuff. Okay. And we were going to charge X amount for that. But we realized that if we just kind of show you how to do it, the chances of you actually getting it done properly are very low. And at any amount, that's not going to provide a return on your investment. So while we probably could have taken some of these things away and charged a more nominal fee or something like that, the chance of your return on that investment is going to be lower. So we would rather charge you $20,000 and be highly confident that you're going to see a positive ROI on that and have a good experience and have a great asset on the other end of it than just try to get as many sales as we can and teach as many people as we can. We're limiting this to 15 people, and we're limiting this to 15 serious people that are ready to scale to the next level. And as I'm sure if any of you are entrepreneurs or business owners or investors yourselves, those types of scaling moves require some sort of investment in infrastructure, but we want to be strategic about that. One more thing I'll add to this, and this question may or may not have been asked, but how much should I set aside for a marketing budget? Well, it's related. We don't want to spend a single dollar on marketing until we know how we can draw a straight line from the dollars that are coming back into the door. Okay. And it's the same thing here. We don't want you to sign up for this program until you're confident that we're able to walk you through this process so that you can see a positive ROI. Same thing with marketing. What's a good marketing budget? $0 for now. We need to test your message. We need to test your audience. We need to make sure that that works and it's going to create a result. And then we start peppering in a few dollars here and there as a test and make sure we get a return on that. And Kate, I don't know if that specifically was asked about marketing budget, but could you, just because it always comes up on my calls, could you spend like just 10 or 15 seconds addressing that just from your expertise?
Well, the first part of the program, like we talked about, you're going to be building the platform. So everything that you need to know about your investment happens in the program. After, when you do your one-on-one and you create your marketing plan with Patricia, you are going to start talking about how to feed that machine, that platform that you just built with leads. There was a question actually similar, so I'm going to try to wrap the two together because we have a lot of questions. Prashant is asking, how do you bring traffic to your lead magnet? Do you use Facebook ads? Do you use Google ads? And what kind of budget do you put in for that? So we do have that question. And so that is what you will determine along with Patricia in your one-on-one based on where you are at and what you are looking to do. So, we, every single client we work with, it's different. Yes, we do use paid traffic. We also use other organic means to bring traffic to our lead magnet. Like Michael mentioned, in the content portion, Michael chatted with you about how he goes on other people's podcasts. He goes on OPP, right? Other people's podcasts. And that is a way that brings traffic back to his lead magnet. Michael, we do social media, right? So he's active on Instagram. We do Facebook Lives. And so we spend our budget in various ways. And so all of that is part of the mastermind, right? So you'll do a plan with Patricia. So I'm not answering the budget question because unfortunately there's really only one thing that's true in marketing answer, and it's called it depends. And that's why you get the one-on-ones in the program. Even though it's delivered as a group to get the group information, you have the one-on-ones to customize because everything is it depends. We don't know how many contacts are already in your CRM. We don't know that target avatar that you've created. The more niche it is, the more expensive it might be to market to them. And all of that data will become apparent to you in the program. So I don't want to give you too much information about it, but you do want to set aside a budget for advertising, for boosting your properties. We have a whole social media strategy. If you guys were here for DML, I presented on what our strategy is for the part 2, how we feed Michael's machine by producing videos, by sharing it on social media, by doing the podcast, and by boosting those and using the ad spend in order to reach new people and indoctrinate them, serve them, give them content. And so eventually we do a webinar similar to this, but where we're inviting people on inviting the investors that have raised their hand to say that they're interested.
So Kate, just really quickly, in all of your experience, and for those of you that don't know Kate, she's been around for a long time. She's been the backbone of many startups and entrepreneurial businesses. In all of your experience, have you ever recommended somebody spend money that you're not reasonably?
I missed the end of the question.
Yeah, I think he was going to ask, don't have a reasonable expectation of them having an ROI.
Of having a return. No. And the thing that you guys need to know about this is that this is what we do for Michael every single day. We have a deal coming up. I am about to start promoting to the deal ready investors. As he mentioned, we did one last year. Josh talked about that one. That we did. And so, yeah, it's been cool to see the list grow over the last few months of passive investors. So we have new leads for passive investors that have come onto the list. And so this will be a new deal opportunity that we will be sharing out for our deal ready investors. And so we actually do this. And Patricia, we did a beta with 10 people, what Michael led, and Patricia did the implementation for. And then we had our second program where we had 15 folks in there. That one is kind of wrapping up now, the core deliverable part of it, and they're moving into the mastermind. And so we've seen this, it's replicatable. So if you're asking about the budget part, like we do this, and like Michael said in his presentation, it's not even just that we have done it. He and his colleagues, Nighthawk Equity, it's replicatable. So this isn't one of those this isn't really too much. There's not really too many question marks here. The answer is it depends, but it's so funny to see Michael has joined the room, but that's going to be
Josh.
It's going to be Josh coming in on Michael's link. So the answer is that it depends, but it is what Josh was asking me is, can I predict success here? And the answer is we have done it over and over and over again. Like we have repeated it and proven that it works. So,
Totally.
Carlos is asking, same question. If you guys will have questions about anything about the payment, Josh is the expert at that. And the place you want to do that on the call is because we really are committed to getting 15 people in the program that really want to be there and are committed to being there. And so he's the person that will work out all of those details for you to make it work for you if you are certain that you want to be in this program. So yes, Gail, we offer payment plans. There are potentially other opportunities that you may have around payment depending on how much time you need and whatever. So please, if you have a question about the investment itself, that is absolutely, you should work that out with Josh. He's very generous. He's probably a bit of a pushover if you ask me about it. But so please, if you have questions, just schedule the call. If you really feel that this is right for you, you know that this is something that you need to do, but you have a concern about that, and that's really your only question, then absolutely, please do that. So let me ask a couple other questions about marketing, because I do want to also make sure that people get their marketing questions answered. And after building Tom is saying the electronic platform, the digital platform, can we structure mergers and acquisitions deals in the multifamily apartment industry? Yeah, you can actually use this platform, you guys, to raise capital for anything. This is not even really specific to multifamily. This is how we saw it. But if we're trying to raise capital, I saw some people say single family, for other real estate ventures, for commercial real estate, even broader than that. You could use this if you were an entrepreneur with an app that you were trying to raise money for, because the reason that I'm here on this webinar and Patricia's here on this webinar chatting with you, and why Michael consults with us, is that we've been doing online marketing for a decade. So we know how to apply these to really anything. Now, specifically, that I'd like to say that the webinar deal structure that you're going to get a template for, like the content of that and the actual text and everything will be that you will have get as templates that you will definitely customize with your own voice and your own brand and your own position, like how you're going to use it, what types of properties, how you're going to, sort of prep the investors for all of that. it was created with multifamily in mind. However, the idea here is that we're not in the business of creating 15 people at a time that are all doing the same exact thing. That's why you'll get the ebook template, and you will spend some time contributing to that so that it's edited, like Josh said, with your story and your brand. And Patricia will help you do all of that. She's really masterful with it. So Gail's asking, how long does it take to get up and running from start to finish? To build the platform, we do it in 60 days. It's an 8-week program, and you build it in 60 days. Am I right about that, Patricia?
Yeah.
I'm just repeating. Good.
We have some people that actually went faster, and then we have some people that went slower. Like we had a couple people that had babies, they were traveling. So the actual program is delivered in 60 days. And if you stay on pace with the lessons and modules week over week, we will be done with your platform and all of your content, and you'll have a full, beautiful list. All your deliverables will be yours at that 60-day mark. And then typically what we'll do is we'll give you an opportunity to still book those marketing strategy sessions and to have additional one-on-one tech calls and all of that stuff so that you're really prepared to move into the mastermind with a plan in place. So, yeah.
Josh, can you talk about someone is asking that they're new to multifamily and so they really do want to build their platform. Can you answer why we do not work with individuals that have not done any deals?
Sure.
And I think there's a little bit of give and take in there about no deals. Most people have done deals. Is that?
Yes. So one of the reasons that I just added that in is the last time we launched this program, I talked to a lot of people, and the ones who ultimately found this as a good fit for them had already executed some level of real estate deal. And there may have been one exception, Patricia can maybe tell you, but I'm not going to say we're not going to work with you if you haven't done a deal, but I will say it's probably more appropriate for you if you've already closed a deal and you're looking to scale. If you've not yet closed a deal, it's going to be really important if you are building a platform and raising capital in this way and building those relationships. Having some level of experience and a portfolio to share is going to make it easier for you. And also this isn't an exact science, but it also kind of indicates that you have the ability to make some level of investment in the infrastructure of this business because it's already an operating business that's producing some sort of results and cash flow and that sort of thing. If you're starting from zero, dropping $20K to build a platform for a business that's currently doing $0 might be kind of a tough sell mentally. So if there's some really good reason that you feel like this is right for you and you feel like that you can be successful with it, man, go ahead and schedule a call and let's have the conversation, and I'll give you my honest opinion. We really don't want to put anybody in here that we think is going to fail. And especially we don't want to put anybody in here that we don't think is going to get a positive ROI. Michael doesn't like to create programs that don't pay for themselves. And so we need to make sure that we put people in here that are going to get those results that they need. They're going to hustle. They're going to raise the capital that they need so that they can produce an ROI. So certainly welcome to having the conversation. And I invite you to go ahead and fill an application.
Yeah. So I have one thing. Go ahead, Kate.
I was just going to do the next. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was saying, Kale wrote in and asked, is the platform's material suitable for a fund versus a single property syndication in regard to the marketing materials that are provided for the blog posts and other marketing materials? So what I can tell you, and this has been the really fun part of what we've been able to do with each of our students, is we literally customize everything. So if you're looking at this and you're interested in moving forward with your platform, if you'll remember during the presentation, one of the main things that Josh said that you have to do is write some content, right? Not a whole lot. You work on templates, but you do fill out some content during the process of us building the platform. And so during that process, you will create content that's specific to your audience after we've defined your avatar and done all this amazing work with you. So in terms of what's being provided, everything that we do is custom. Your brand everything that we create with your branded materials is completely custom. So you've got a lot of input into what we're creating with you, Gail, while we're creating it for you.
All right, awesome. Sharma Lee, if you're still on, you said that you were interested in talking about the mentoring program that Josh mentioned. I would say go ahead and just book a call right there on the page. Is that all right with you, Josh?
That's fine.
Yeah. Versus throwing out other
That's fine.
links and confusion. So platformbuilders.com. Someone else is asking about dates. So that's back to me. I don't have the exact dates for you. I know this year we did one in the spring, and we're doing one in the fall, and because we have DML in the summer. And then we did one early in the year, like January, February. So we did one in like the winter months. We did one in the spring. We did one in the fall. And that's likely the schedule that we will follow again.
I can add some color to that. So we're going to start with you immediately. The class will probably start in a few weeks once we get everybody in. But once you decide that this is right for you and it seems like a good fit, we'll bring you in and we'll go ahead and schedule your one-on-one with Patricia. And we're going to go ahead and start with that just as soon as you're ready. And then we'll put everybody through the class at the same time. And that's going to start in a couple of weeks.
Yes, exactly. So Harland is asking if, once again, just to let you guys know, yes, this is available. So if you need to show it to your partners or review it, you will get a recording of this in the morning, or you want to take notes on the slides. Absolutely. Matthew, I kind of answered your questions in there about the tools that we use in case you are interested in building, your own platform. We don't recommend it, but you absolutely can. I mean, some of us learned from doing that. And then Gail, Gail had a repeat question from before. So I think that actually concludes. Someone had a question. They said 15 blog posts or 52. We did say 52, one blog post a week for the rest of the year. So we do give you 52 blog post ideas. And just, I like how Josh said the color thing, just to give you some color on those. Those ideas are coming from our best blog posts, the titles and the stories or the topics that have worked best for us, that we see in our Google Analytics, that we use in our marketing over and over again because they've been super effective. And one cool thing is, if you are interested in video, you don't have to just do those as blog posts. Mm-hmm. You can turn on the camera, put up a ring light, and record those as videos to start your YouTube channel or even your podcast if you really wanted to do that. So, yes, can you give us the link to a website built by your program? I recommend that you go to nighthawkequity.com because Nighthawk Equity is our case study here. We built Nighthawk Equity at first, and we used this before we ever started teaching it. So I would recommend that you check out nighthawkequity.com. And some technical questions. Are the same blog post ideas given to all the students? That's a great question because, of course, yes, they are. But you are not writing the same blog post, and not everyone uses all the topics. I would assume, Patricia, that that's the case. These are ideas for you to help get your mind churning. And also, it's not true that everyone will write 52 blog posts in a year, right? It's even for us with Michael writing a blog post every week. We have a podcast every week, a YouTube video every week. There is a team of us here. Michael has built his platform, and it makes sense for him to continue to invest in that way. I have clients in the past, and we have students, and we write one blog post a month. We will show you how to break that up into repeatable content that you can use every day of the month from maybe one YouTube video, one topic that you want to promote for the month. So if you're concerned about any of this being replicated, what Patricia said is absolutely true. Everyone gets the same ideas, but that's because if you're trying to indoctrinate a new investor into your business, talking about certain things is what you should do. But the actual content of what you're about, what your brand is about, why they should invest with you is going to be entirely different. But does it make sense that everyone would have a blog post topic idea called why should you invest with me? You know, I'm making a very simple case for it, but I just want you to understand that like we're not going to give you content that every 15 people should have the same blog post. That absolutely is not what we're doing.
Just look at it like this. There's only so many topics that we can discuss with multifamily. And so we're going to provide the topic and some bullet points, and you're going to make that your own. And it's just going to be a lot easier that way, because all of that heavy lifting of figuring out what to actually talk about is done. Now we just need to figure out how to add your personal commentary to it. And that part's the easy and fun part.
I want to just say one more. We're going to wrap up here shortly, so I want to just put the call out one more time. Both, if you have a question, now it would be the time to ask it. So please, like, last call for questions, and then also just a reminder. And I see Jefferson saying that there is some availability for July 30th and 31st. So there is a couple opportunities open to have a call with Josh to work out any of the other questions. Maybe you didn't feel comfortable asking your question live, or you want to talk about a specific situation that really only applies to you. Josh is the one that you want to talk to about that. So get on his calendar, because he's right. Last time we filled up like that. So I'm surprised there are slots left. Carlos says, great information, guys. I'm scheduling a call with Josh. Awesome. We love to hear that. And any final words while we're maybe waiting for a couple more, seeing if there's any more questions, give people opportunity to type. Does anybody have any last words?
Sign up.
Peter asked him. There you go. Peter had asked, I assume you work with Squarespace. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we do. We've got people that do Wix and Squarespace and WordPress and all sorts of things. So not a problem. If you already have a site you want to use, it's okay.
And you may take a look at the site that we give you and decide that you want to make the switch. So there's a lot of benefits to it. Again, but if you're committed to what you've got, we'll make it work. So all great questions, you guys. Great questions about program, great questions about marketing in general, great questions all the way around about multifamily marketing. And so I hope that we have provided you guys with a great experience tonight. We want you guys to give the boss man a good review for us that we showed up and we did our job. So I'd love it if you did enjoy the experience tonight. You feel like you learned a lot from Michael, and that we were fully available here for you to answer all of your questions and make sure that you left. Would you just let us know in the chat really quick before we go? And if you have any more questions, Josh, do you mind if I just throw out your email address in case that's the way that they would like to do it?
It's actually on the website. If you go to platformbuilders.com and under when you schedule a time, if you look to the left, my email address is there. It's josh@themichaelblanc.com. And you can also call our toll-free number if you have some questions, and you'll probably end up reaching Elaine during business hours. And so there's lots of ways to reach us, but yeah, you can reach out to me directly. But if you are interested in the Platform Builder Workshop, the best way to do this is to fill out an application so that we can get on the calendar.
Absolutely. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. Good night, everybody. And we will talk to you again soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.